long you been recording for? Oh wow, that's a lot to clip. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Southern Cross MC podcast. We are gathered here today with my fellow podcastees. We have Mr. Lawyer to my right, we have Case to the left, and our first guest here today, who is Mr. Denzel. Ignore the other Sheila to the right. She doesn't mean anything.
So I wanted to ask a few questions about how you were telling me about was it working at Subway and you were fired? Well, you weren't supposed to be fired, but it wasn't lawful, so you sued him correctly?
Yeah, no, I sued him. He deserved
My
it
boy
all the
made some
way.
money.
So can you explain on why?
I only got $1,000 from suing him. It's not a lot of money because he said he was bloody broke.
A broke Indian.
But
Wow,
the
tell us
reason I
something
sued
new.
him, he basically sacked me for no apparent reason. It was basically based on a bunch of let's just say false warnings that I didn't have to my name over stealing $50 and theft of money.
Mm-hmm.
So basically,
Oh wow.
since that day that he said my medical certificate was fraudulent, he sacked me. Not quite exciting, right?
So you basically you got unlawfully terminated for basically conspiracy to commit theft and fraudulent medical certificates.
Literally, and I wasn't even in the state when I was accused of stealing money. I was literally in Melbourne, and I have
That is
exact
unbelievable.
time frames for my flight and tickets. Bloody people these days, right?
I think he was a little bit racist. You know what? I'll put him
Oh
on
no, I don't think he liked my skin color.
Mate, he took one look at you and he's like, nah, won't have it.
Oh no,
Get out of
he
my
was
shop.
technically scared of me because of my job on the side. So who knows? He probably didn't like my skin color though.
How about you tell us the part where you basically sit down with the lawyer? Because remember that day that you were calling me and you told me that you got the lawyer office tomorrow.
Oh yeah, no. When we were talking on the call, I was getting ready to go to the lawyer's office. Managed to get there on time, caught the bus into the city, get in there right at the time the meeting starts. So I was quite happy.
Yep.
And then me and the lawyer didn't have time to discuss the prominent issue because we were too busy. And then as the case is starting with the judge, he's just gone through a bunch of repeated bloody things in the courthouse, like a bunch of rules. And I'm like, mate, just shut up and begin with the court case. Like, just, which didn't happen. But what he did was, the judge had to whack the gavel on the bench a few times over this guy. Take my advice, never sue an Indian. He was getting yelled at and scorched from right and left and center, and he wasn't understanding what the judge was saying. And then he said his English was bad, and he told the judge to go F himself.
Oh, what a
So it
mess
seems
up
that his English is inconveniently bad until he needs to tell the judge to go.
Literally, and it was so hilarious. I was holding my laugh in until I got home, and then I made some phone calls. But reading over the document that I have to have signed today and sent back to the lawyer, I was definitely embarrassed. It basically says, on the respondents complying with clause 4, the applicant receives all discharges and respondents and its directors, officers, employees from all claims, actions, and liabilities to which the respondent may now be subject or a respondent may be for this agreement have been subjected in the future. This relates to the applicant's employment with the respondent of the termination of that employment, to which now the applicant may be subject, or which the applicant may, but disagree, have become subject in the future. Despite Clause 8, the agreement does not affect any claims or actions the applicant may have at any time. The applicant will not discuss the terms of agreement to any other than to disclose it confidentially to their legal or financial advisors. Like, gosh, it's ridiculous. Oh,
That is crazy.
I like you find it the most funniest thing ever. So basically, be liable to be sued from him after chatting about this.
And if I'm correctly, he got deported.
He's being deported. So basically,
Yeah.
he was caught as a immigrant running a business in Australia.
That
And then
is
his brother
Australian justice,
So-
ladies and gentlemen. Australian justice.
You never mess with an employee of the government, right? Oh, horrible man.
Sorry, I had to get rid of a couple people here.
Even the claims the man made was so inappropriate and it wasn't truthful. Swearing the oath in the courtroom
So
and him calling him a liar.
he
Ooh.
made false stuff about you in order to win
Yeah.
that case. Yeah.
In order to win the case, which he wasn't successful, he has to pay me $1,000 within the next 7 days.
In the next 7 days.
Yeah, he's got to pay me $1,000 within the next 7 days. How awesome is that?
Otherwise, the consequences are probably imprisonment.
I still believe for the accusations he made, he should be paying you a lot more in compensation.
He wasn't broke, right? Why the hell did he pull out the broke card? Like, that's basically me
Well, how
telling
can
you and lawyer, I'm broke and
How
can't
can you be
afford to
broke
pay
running
you.
a franchise? He's running it's a franchise. He's running the Subway franchise. He owns one of the stores. He can't be broke. It's impossible for him to be broke.
That's like one of
That's
them
what
owning
I
the
was saying.
7-Eleven.
And he earns $96,000 a month.
Okay.
A month, mate. I'll have
month,
to go
yeah.
go under the table for the Prime Minister to get that kind of money a month.
Oh, I get more than that from the Prime Minister. Don't you stress. You guys pay the taxes, you pay me. I'm happy.
Well, you've done more than that.
Oh, well, guess what? I don't pay taxes, so I'm paying you nothing.
Oh, that's a real cruel way. Just wait until you start paying taxes, then I'll be getting your wage in my pocket.
Yeah, they actually suck. Look,
You need to tell
Right,
Albo that. But let me just
mate,
tell you,
cash in hand's the way to go, lads.
I definitely
not
enjoy
when you got
being
bills.
the future leader of South Australia. That's the main goal at the time. But who cares about Subway now? It's just a shrug off the shoulder.
Mate, I haven't seen an active Subway in years.
How long have you been with the government?
Me, more than 5
Yeah.
years.
Are you going to remember us when you become higher up in the government?
So my main goal is to become the Prime Minister of Australia. So
Is it become the what of Australia?
Prime Minister. Yeah.
The Prime Minister. Mate, you better be letting us off everything, mate. You better come and personally bail us out.
One thing we're allowed to do as Prime Minister, we're allowed to do a Prime Minister pardon. So I could basically pardon you from your crimes, but it depends on what it is. Because then I will get backlash from the Australian
wouldn't
community.
people say that is abuse of power?
Technically, it depends on the crime you committed.
So if I committed, let's just say, a 3rd-degree murder, and you actually got,
I won't be allowed to
somehow you got
pardon
me out.
you.
Alright, what
So if I
committed burglary?
If I commit domestic terrorism,
I think Donald
gone.
Trump will be able to. DLT will
I
be
reckon
able to.
Donald Trump,
I won't be able
Trump
to.
would be helpful all the way on that one.
I won't be able to get you out. As long as you pull out you're an American citizen card, you'll be fine.
What if I had done burglary or something like that?
That's easy. I could basically let you off with a slap on the wrist.
So if I assaulted someone and done burglary, what about that? If there was an old grandma
That's a
in front
slap
of
on
me
the
and I
wrist.
pushed her over,
It depends on the severity. In most
And strike her back.
instances, I could basically just slap you on the wrist and expunge your record.
so there's a lot of power that you can hold there.
Being Prime Minister, and it not includes expunging your record. It includes running an entire country, ensuring our foreign and international partnerships and policies remain the same, so we don't cause any wars or outbreaks with another country. Our government's main commitment is making sure China's relationship with Australia remains as good and fresh in good hands with the Australian people. So there's no vigilantes involved with the demising of the government, which that's what we tend to ensure not happen.
And that's going to be good, but we need more control on the border because obviously stuff is sneaking in, like so that narcotics and stuff like that are
illegal
not
substances. Oh, tell me
illegal
about that.
substances. Yes, illegal. Yes. obviously people are getting paid by corrupt cops and all that, so that brings in a lot of money for them in their pocket, but it actually doesn't go to the government. It goes into their pocket. Bribery.
Oh no, it's disgusting how the cops can exploit their powers. Half the time, I believe cops think they're above the law.
Yeah, I do too.
Let's just admit, cops are not above the law in this country.
Because honestly, they say they got a voice, but yet they abuse their voice.
They are there to protect and serve this country. They're not there
Yeah.
to abuse their powers and act above the law.
Someone told them that.
They work for us. They work for the constituents of this country, the people.
If you could say that to our cops, right, like in our state, they would shrug it off and just flip you off.
And let me tell you, I've done that to many cops in South Australia. As
here in Victoria,
yeah,
they will tell you to jog on.
Yeah, they will
Let me
find a
just
reason
tell you.
and beat you.
As the Honourable DENZ, youth chairman here in South Australia, who has extended his public service for the last 5 years, this allowed me the privilege of not representing myself, but every single young person across the country and in South Australia. So that's 3.3 million people, well, young people to be exact, and 363,100 of those are from South Australia. They're my constituents. And I make sure us as young people have the power, the efforts.
Yep.
I totally forgot what I was going to say.
and-
The efforts and the confidence to make sure they're protecting the great state of South Australia. And that's the main commitment with our current government over here. We want to make sure every young people feel safe and vibrant in their own community.
Exactly.
How much does this strain on you, like, every day? Do you like? Does it cause a lot of stress on you every now and then?
Let's admit it doesn't really. It just depends on what they give me. So let's just say I do have a bag packed in my room. It's on the floor. It's ready for if I get a call, I jump on a plane and head out the state, which is generally what I do. But I don't have the intentions to do that. But it is a mental strain since I could be called at 4 o'clock in the morning to head to the airport and get there within an hour and jump on a plane and then I'm out. And that's the most difficult thing ever because you have to have another phone next to your head, which they can call, and it won't stop buzzing. It's like an alarm clock.
No, I probably couldn't deal with that.
But one of the most stressful things that I would say I have to deal with is the bells in Parliament. As soon as they start ringing, they ring for at least 15 minutes straight. And within those 15 minutes, you got to finish up going to the toilet and you got to run straight to the floor. It's horrible.
Wouldn't it be even harder when, let's just say that your state and another state sits down and has a talk, but one of them disagrees? Wouldn't that be harder to want to, control something or get something